Hello, this is Professor Zafari. This is the first of a few videos explaining the ideology of Islam. What do I mean by the word ideology? I mean belief system. The multiple ideas that are knitted together that form a belief system or ideology. So, I will not be discussing the rituals of Islam or be going into detail about Islamic law. What I am going to be focusing on are the larger ideas that form the bigger picture, the ideology of one of the world's largest religions. I used the phrase multiple ideas knitted together to describe ideology, and I think it is one metaphor we can use. Another metaphor we can use to understand Islam's ideology is a machine with multiple gears and cogs and wheels working together to achieve the same goal. So if we use that metaphor, let's focus on three aspects of Islam's ideology: submission, justice, and human nature. First, let's start with understanding the concept that Islam asserts that there is a universal design created by God, in which every single aspect of the universe has a specific role to play. From the laws of physics to the laws of man, all processes are included within this universal design. Here are a few verses from the Quran that reflect this concept. In chapter 45 of the Quran, verses 2 through 5 say, "The bestowal from on high of this divine writ issues from God, the Almighty, the Wise. Behold, in the heavens as well as on earth there are indeed messages for all who are willing to believe. And in your own nature, and in that of all the animals which he scatters over the earth, there are messages for people who are endowed with inner certainty. And in the succession of night and day, and in the means of subsistence which God sends down from the skies, giving life to the earth after it has been lifeless, and in the change of the winds, in all of this there are messages for people who use their reason." So these verses reiterate the idea that from the smallest one-cell organisms to the most complex organisms we have discovered, each unit or creation is significant in and of itself and is also significant for the role it plays within the universe. The best example I can think of to illustrate this concept is the ecosystem of a coral reef. Coral is beautiful in and of itself. It is a complex, stunning organism, but coral lives and performs a tremendously important role within its ecosystem. It supports and works in collaboration with other equally stunning organisms. Each individual's beauty does not detract from any others, and collaboratively, living and functioning according to the role designed for them, they are also part of an even larger work of beauty, a coral reef, a thriving, complex, delicate, and stunning ecosystem. We can also see this principle in Islamic art. We will discuss in more detail Islamic art in another learning unit, but it is relevant to mention here that the same principle of individual units of beauty combining to form a more complex, stunning visual design is also reflected in Islamic art. Here are a few more examples. In the Dome of the Rock, one of the most notable works of architecture in Jerusalem, the interior of the dome is covered with individual design units. You can see them here in this close-up that they look like teardrops or they look like lozenges, and each one is intricately painted and plated with gold and hand-designed. But when you look at them, not only individually, but also as a whole, you can see that they're beautiful not only in and of themselves, but also for the combined effect that they create. You can also see the principle of a combined beauty in this. This is the interior of a lobe inside a mosque in Spain. We'll also be discussing Spain in a future learning unit. But here what you can see is that there are verses of the Quran that are going around the lobed dome. You can also see vegetal designs with the green vines and leaves. You can see embellishments, and they're all interesting in and of themselves, but together they combine to make a stunning overall effect. So this is the framework of Islam's ideology, that when every creature, every individual, every aspect of the universe is functioning as it is meant to, it performs a role to create a beautiful, intricately interwoven design that is meant to promote justice, compassion, and harmony. Those are the ultimate goals of Islamic ideology. Those goals are achieved when each individual unit, each human being, each animal, each organism performs its role. In order to perform its role, it has to accept or submit to the idea that it has a role designed specifically for it. Except there are these creatures called human beings who have free will. And those creatures with free will often decide not to submit, often decide not to be just, not to be compassionate. And these then are the problems that interrupt the beautiful interworkings of the universal design. So this is the basic framework for Islamic ideology. If human beings don't screw things up, everything will work out just fine. But there is a reason that human beings have free will, and this is what we're going to discuss in the next video segment of this unit.